Can you tell us about your broken freaking neck?
Yes, that happened at the U.S. Open 2 months prior to the Olympics. I got thrown on my head, and I heard this cracking and crunching in my neck when I landed, and a guy threw me on my head, and I got up and I couldn't feel my arms, and I called for a timeout and got myself situated and went back. I didn't know my neck was broken, so I continued on. But I had to continue on if I wanted to make the Olympic team. So regardless, I would have done it anyway. So I ended up coming back and winning that match. And then the finals, that was a semis. In the finals, I wrestled a great Olympic wrestler named Kerry McCoy. And I couldn't do anything, so I just pummeled him the whole time and won by 0-0 referee's decision. I don't know how I did it because he's a fabulous wrestler. But I just did whatever I could to make him look like he was stalling and that I was aggressive. And it was just upper body pummeling, underhooks. Just I couldn't attack him because of my neck. So when I won that, I came home and went to the doctor, and he said, "You're done." And I was like, I got to wrestle. This is my only chance. I'm on the Olympic team. I don't want to blow this chance. And he said, "Well, now granted, this is back in 1996. You can't do this anymore." But the doctor said, "All right, we'll give you a healing agent, and we'll stick you in the neck with that." And it wasn't a steroid because I wasn't allowed steroids because of the Olympics. So it wasn't anything that like cortisone. That's the steroid, but it was a healing agent. And he decided to have a doctor travel with me in the Olympics and stick me in the neck with 12 shots of Novocaine before each one of my matches.
Holy.
So my neck would be numb for an hour. Yeah. Would be numb for an hour, and then after the match was over, I was in excruciating pain. It was just so much pain I couldn't deal with it. But I got through it. I got through every match, and thank God I won the Olympics. I did what I set out to do. I just wish that it was under better circumstances.
And then WWE came reaching out to you after that, or?
Yes, they offered me a deal right away after the Olympics. Vince McMahon saw me on TV, and he offered me a great deal, a 10-year deal, multi-million-dollar deal. And my agent said, "You're not doing this. This stuff is fake. You're real." Just like my coaches growing up told me. I never watched pro wrestling because I was always told that I'm the real deal, and they're getting the credit for wrestling. I think the amateur wrestling community back then was a little bitter about it. They're not bitter anymore because a lot of wrestlers have crossed over now. So it's a little different today. And they understand that it's sports entertainment. It's not really wrestling. Yeah. So I ended up, I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Oh, just Vince giving you that offer, but we could.
Oh yeah, the offer. That's right. That's where I was going. So he offered me a deal. My agent said, "No, you're not doing it." And so I didn't. I took a sportscasting job for a year in Pittsburgh with Fox, and it was a startup station, so I didn't have much time to prepare because the cameras weren't ready till the day of shooting. So I went in there, and I was a weekend sports anchor, and my monitor, when I went to read the Angle on Sports, I lost all my scripts. They went in the air, and when I walked in the studio, I ran to the producer, and my scripts flew in the air. I said, "What am I going to do? My scripts are out of order." He said, "Just read the prompter." So I went to read the prompter, and it went blank. I didn't say anything for like 2 minutes. And my producer's like, "Say something, anything." And I remember the first story was Duquesne basketball. And I just, I ended up, it was an 8-minute devastation of Kurt Angle. it was the worst thing I ever did. And when I got done, the weekday sports anchor said, I've been doing this 17 years. That never happened to me. And it happened to you your first night. That's how the job was the whole year. So I didn't really pick up well. I failed miserably. So, after that year, which was 97 and early 98, I contacted WWE and said, hey, you still give me that offer? And Jim Ross said, no, you're going to have to try out. And I said, okay, I'll come up and try out. So I went to a tryout in WWE, and they had the Dory Funk Dojo back then. So they were doing like 5 days a month of the dojo. It wasn't a lot, but it was something. And that's where I had my tryout. And the first day I picked up incredibly well on the bumping and the selling and, all the technique, and they offered me a deal right away, but it wasn't a multi-million-dollar deal. It was $50,000. So, I had to work my way up, and I was okay with that. I've always done that my whole life, always been the underdog, and I knew that it wasn't going to be any different in WWE.
How hard was it to cut that first promo?
You know what? The crazy thing is the Dory Funk Dojo didn't really teach it that much. We didn't work on promos that much at all. We did technique and, selling and bumping. And I had to learn on the fly when I got to the big show, Raw and SmackDown. And I had to basically just go with it. And, I remember my first promo, Vince McMahon said, hey, this is what you're going to say. I want you to go out there and say it right now. And he started talking, and he rambled on for 5 minutes, and I didn't listen to a word he said. I was like, holy crap. He wants, remember all this. And when he got done, he said, are we good? And I said, Vince, I didn't listen to a word you said. I said, you're going to have to tell me it again. He said, all right, but you got to cut this promo. You got to do it. You either sink or swim. And he said it to me again, and I went out there, and I didn't get it all right, but I got enough of it right that Vince said, oh, this guy has it. So from there, Vince started to create the Kurt Angle character.
Yeah.
Did the comedy side of wrestling come easy to you?
The what side of wrestling?
The comedy side.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even know I was really that funny. The thing is, the writer Brian Gewirtz and Vince McMahon, they knew where they wanted me to go with it. They wanted me to be gullible, but yet deceiving. They wanted me to be goofy, but yet vicious. And, I just listened to what they told me. And, Brian Gewirtz wrote some great promos for me. And, a lot of the stuff was really funny and entertaining. And so that's why they pushed me so quickly from the beginning, because I caught on really fast. I was only training for 8 months before I went on TV. It was a very short period of time, and I still didn't know what I was doing when I got on TV. The wrestlers were guiding me through the matches. They were talking to me in the ring and tell me what to do. Because when I beat The Rock for the world title, I still didn't know what I was doing. I was still learning. I probably got it in 3 years, and that's when the real Kurt Angle, the wrestler that everybody knows was 3 years after I started training.